Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Patrick Claybon on the NFL Network doing the Can I Get a Witness Fantasy Football League draft lottery result. Now, everybody had the same numbers, so disregard the lottery effect. But here, picking the number 10, it's last year's Toilet Bowl defending champion, but one-time champion, Cindy, looking to bounce back from a last-place finish last year. Who's picking number 9? The tears in bed? Eber's not sad. Eber knows that he's going to contribute to a championship effort by himself because, hey, there's no co-piloting teams here. This is all solo. Ed is picking number 8. Congratulations to Ed. Who's picking in that number 7 spot? Oh, we've got a one-time champion. It's Trevor picking at number 7. I think there's value here in 7, 6, and 5 in 2024 especially. It makes it a little bit easier because as we see Mary-Kate or Ashley revealing the fact that it's Irvin with that 6th pick. Let's get into 5 as we've got Leo chuckling, who's taking that number 5 pick. It's Rebecca looking for her first championship. Let's get into the 4th pick. More Leo for some reason. Gifts love Leo. Leo loves gifts that are significantly younger than that. It's five-time champion. JP, the 5-time champion, gets back in there. Cole is picking at number 3. That means we've got 2 teams left. Adam with the number 2 overall pick, leading us to, it's all predictable at this point. Drew has the number 1 overall selection. I'm looking forward to seeing how every week plays out. Congratulations to everybody for a great season, because I know what's going to happen in the Can I Get a Witness Fantasy Football League.
What is up, everybody, in the Can I Get a Witness Fantasy Football League? It's me. It's Adam Rank of the NFL Network. You know me from the shows. Most importantly, this has become an annual tradition for us to talk about reasons for optimism, because if you know anything about me, I am the most optimistic sports fan that you know. I root for the Bears. Constantly have to have optimism. The Angels. I know. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to go. You don't care. I'm not going to go into it. And here's the thing. I also like Arsenal. So I hate winning, but I love optimism. And this is why I enjoy doing this each and every season. And since you are familiar with my work, you know that this is probably going to take a minute. So hopefully you've got yourself a tasty beverage, whatever it is. I'm going to sit here and drink a little coffee while I'm doing this. It's still the morning hours while I'm getting this going. The kids already, though, are in the pool, which is why I'm in this room that hasn't been decorated yet. But the kids are in the pool, so I can't, listen, I know that was a humble brag. I did mean to do it a little bit, but thank you for asking. Let's go over some reasons for optimism. Let's start with Cindy, who, 2 years ago, we were a champion. And as we spoke last year, defending champion. And a lot of times, I'm sure that I warned you in the moment. Being a champion means that you're going to be getting everybody's best shot, which is exactly what happened last season as you came in last place. And for me, listen, this is the way that I would rather operate. Give me first or last, because it doesn't matter. Being 4th is worse because you're stressing throughout the entirety of the season. Instead, you were able to sit there, probably learned a thing or two. Some things didn't go your way, but it's not a reason to pack it in. And this year are going to come out even better, come out even stronger. This is when you really prove your mettle as a fantasy enthusiast, as a fantasy manager. Think about this. When the Patriots dynasty started a number of years ago, 2001, they won that Super Bowl. They lost. They didn't even make the playoffs the following year, then came back and won back-to-back Super Bowls. I think that you can use that as some motivation. And if you hate the Patriots, I apologize. My guy Adam, buddy, listen, you're improving. You improved. You went from last place to 9th place. And just think about this. In a decade, you'll be hoisting a fantasy title. But listen, the one thing that we really like about your game is that you've really leaned in to the keeper aspect of this all. I will tell you, though, and I do love that you're playing the long game. And if some of these guys do hit, it's going to come through greatly. And I get that. But here's the thing. Football is so volatile. You got to try to win every year. I know, I play with dynasty people who are trying to play chess when everybody's playing checkers, but sometimes you're playing Monopoly when you should be playing Galaga. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. You've probably never heard of either one of those games. That's why boomers like us, actually, boomers like me, played back in the day. But listen, you showed improvement last year. Listen, you can't get first until you get out of last. You got out of last. So that is really good. So you should be optimistic for this upcoming season. Continue to do what you're doing. You're building a squad. Remember this too. If you look at the Detroit Lions, a couple of years ago, I picked them to go to the playoffs this year. But still, people were a little skeptical about last season, being like, well, you know what? Is this really a thing? Adam, this is when you go out and prove that this is really a thing, that you're ready to go, that you're a serious player in Dynasty Fantasy Football League. I think you're going to make great strides this year. You should always want to win, and I think that's important. You always want to win. You're never going to not want to win, but we want to see improvement. Make the playoffs this year. It's like this series that I'm doing for NFL Media. State of the franchise. A lot of times I'm just telling some teams, like, all you need to do is make the playoffs. Show us some tangible evidence that you're moving in the right direction. Surprise us with a championship, maybe. Got to get to the playoffs, but I think you can do it. All right, Cole. Buddy, I can't believe that you missed the playoffs for the first time in a long time. One of the most bankable things that you could count on in this league was that Mr. Phillips was going to brag about all the championships that he has won in the past. He is. I mean, that's how JP operates. But we also figure that Cole's going to be the playoffs. It's just one of those things. It's like, hey, you go, like when you're sitting there doing predictions right now, and you're kind of like, oh, well, yeah, well, like, of course, the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. Like, you sort of take certain things, you almost take it for granted. And I think that might have been what happened last season, is that you've been so good for so long that you kind of get a little complacent. And that's fine. It happens to everybody. It happens to every team. I mean, think about Andy Reid, who's won, 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls, is now in the conversation for the greatest coach of all time. Yet, he got fired by the Eagles. Like, the Eagles were, like, tired of his ass. We're like, we don't think you're going to be a good, we don't think it's going to work out anymore. And they got rid of him. Sometimes you got to have that moment, and I think that's what last season was for you. And it's good. Like, sometimes it's good to have that, because now you know that you got to go out. You got to know that you can't take it for granted. This entire league is getting better. I mean, think about it. Cindy was in last place, and we all know that Cindy is an excellent player. Adam is getting better. Like, you can't count that. That's not an easy dub. It's not like watching the challenge and you're like, oh, well, I'll go down to the sand and take on Veronica. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no layups in this league anymore. So you got to be more cognizant than ever. You just can't take any time off. And I think, listen, we're all guilty of it. I've done it myself. You get this. It just happens. It's human nature. But now we're going to rally. I fear that this could be the season of Cole. I will give my prediction at the end, of course. But Cole, got my eye on you. Now, Big Irv. Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, congratulations on your move to Utah. One of the most beautiful places on earth. Not Logan. Logan, Utah is not. But most of that state is absolutely gorgeous. So I hope that you're having a good time out there, enjoying everything that it has to offer. I think, honestly, like, I know you're getting a hockey team. Salt Lake City, I think, is going to end up with the A's. I think that's what we're eventually going to see. Whether that's good or bad for you. If it's the same owner, it's going to be terrible for you. But in any event, congratulations to you on the move. You're now the out-of-towner. You're the guy who's got to do this from Zoom. You're going to be the guy that, as we sit there and we move through the draft, you're going to be like, hey, I'll take Tony Pollard. You're like, yeah, you went 3 rounds ago. You went 3. Don't take Tony Pollard, though. By the way, Tajay Spears. Is it Tajay? What's his name? It's Tajay Spears, right? Are we sure that he's not going to be the number 1 guy in Tennessee? I don't know. I don't want to get... Listen, this isn't about advice. This is about optimism. But here's the thing. I need you to be locked in. The first time you do the Zoom draft, it's going to feel bad. You're going to be it's going to be difficult because you're looking at everybody and like, oh, I wish I was there. You know how it goes. But at the same time, it'll also be awesome because you still get a chance to see your friends. You still get a chance to participate. You still get a chance to interact with everybody, but, it's going to be difficult. But the thing is now you got to be more diligent than ever. and you got done. Don't be afraid, when picks are made. If you miss something or anything, like, you got to be in the moment. And the cool thing too is, like, use this to your advantage. Like, a couple of years I've had to do my home league draft from a remote location. And I actually did a better job because I was able to chart things easier. Because a lot of time you're sitting there going like, hey, like, did somebody just double dip in the queso or whatever it is? You want to be able to go out there, and now you have a chance to kind of map things out, see how everything's going. So, Irv, I think you can use this to your benefit. Sixth place, Drew. Congratulations. You know what? Making the playoffs in your second season, and this is a dynasty league too, so or keeper league, or I think it's a dynasty league. Listen, you took over an abandoned team for his first season, and you didn't make the draft last year. And that's okay, because now you're starting off at the 1.01, which means you're going to be taking Christian McCaffrey. We're not even going to debate this. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm worried about his, no. What has he shown you in San Francisco that would make you believe that he would be an injury risk at this point? I got to tell you, last year, people were taking Justin Jefferson because they were like, well, I want to make sure that I want to avert injury risk. And like, Justin Jefferson got hurt. Kirk Cousins got hurt. It sucked. Take CMC is my point here. Don't get cute. I had to sit here and do a segment for the NFL Network not too long ago where I was like, hey, like, this is a thing that could happen. Don't be that person. You don't need to be that person. You're fine. Take CMC and run. And congratulations, though. Congratulations on making the playoffs there, Drew. That was quite an accomplishment. All right, JP finished. I know this isn't a roast. So JP is very good. We can all admit that. And he did have to point out, like, hey, fifth place, the lowest I've finished. Lowest he's ever finished. Fifth place, lowest I've ever played. But was magnanimous in saying that he got blown out in the first round of the playoffs by my gal Rebecca. So love that. Love the humility. Like he did. I love that you sandwich a humble brag with a little humility. Like, hey, you know what? Like I went the other day, got a tremendous bagel sandwich, and they're like, hey, like here's a little macaroni salad. Like, I don't want it. You can keep it. Similarly, I didn't need like the lowest you've ever finished. But listen, you're a great player. You've done a great job. I think though, and I know that these are reasons for optimism. So I know that I'm supposed to keep this positive. But listen, JP's paying for this, and we gotta tweak like his signature on the email. JP, like look at the signature on the email. He lists all the years and all of his accomplishments. Like that, I hope you get these emails. Am I blowing you up? Sorry. I know this isn't a roast. I don't care. I think it's hilarious. JP's a good guy. I actually, believe it or not, this will only mean anything to JP. Like now that your thing has come through, I can now raise my prices. I've been waiting. I wait for all my regulars. Like, hey, you guys, come on in. We're gonna get in at this price, and then we can move up. So I've been waiting for this. So I know that I'm roasting you a little bit. You're a great player, but listen, Drew played well. Adam got out of last place. Cindy finished in last. I think this shows you that the league is getting much better. So you, JP, need to be even more, like, I don't want to be doing this next year. And after this, I might not be. I don't want to be doing this next year and be like, oh, 8th place. Like, this should be the wake-up call. Because this league is getting way better. And I know what it's like. I've played in leagues like this before, where like the first couple of years after you establish it, you're like, hey, like I'm running away with this thing. And then everybody kind of catches up. Or they pay attention to me. No, they're not paying attention to me. But that's the thing. In any event, I think you're going to do quite well. So don't worry about it. But get better. But listen, don't take it easy. Don't be like Cole. Don't do that. All right, Rebecca. Never missed the playoffs. Never missed the playoffs, which is an amazing accomplishment. There is something to be said about the consistency. we talked about who is it, Cole, who missed the playoffs for the first time. Like, to make the playoffs it's very difficult. Like, I sit here and I've been in my league of record. Well, I've been in my league of record since the 90s. So, but it's a long shot. But it's like, yeah, like it's very, like I missed the playoffs. Like, you've got to believe it. Well, people steal my pick. No, but like it is very difficult to make the playoffs. So she's done a great job. Again, crushed JP, which is what we love. We love to see that. And you know what? We're a few points away from getting the championship. I want you to know that the championships are such a roll of the dice. You know what I'm saying? Like, things can go wrong. Like, you could, like, who's it? I think it was Tyreek Hill, who last year did nothing in the playoffs, or one of the rounds of the playoffs, if I'm remembering this correctly, and I like to believe that I am. Tyreek Hill, and it's like, what can you do? Like, you're not playing Tyreek Hill. Like, you can only put the best players out there. It's up to them to perform. But the fact that you're making the playoffs everywhere is indicative of how good you are at fantasy football. So you should keep that up. Eber has finished 5th and 3rd now in his first 2 seasons of the league, and already starting to annoy people. Like, listen, we have guys who go through this league like Adam, who have never made the playoffs, who finally just got out of last place. Eber joins the league, 5th and now 3rd place. You've now become, I don't want to say that you've become the new JP, but it's getting close, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you are now the person that nobody wants to play in the championship round or anything like that. So I like what you're doing. Great job your first 2 seasons. It's very difficult, like, and it's always tough to join leagues like midstream like this, especially with guys like Rebecca, guys like JP and ladies like Rebecca and Cindy who are dominant players. And you join a league like that, and you make the playoffs your first 2 seasons. So I think you should feel very good about what you've accomplished so far. But now it's time to make that jump. It's kind of like the Bengals. You know, the Bengals, Joe Burrow has been to the AFC Championship game in 2 of his first 3 years. I mean, even last year, he was hurt. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they had a lot of early success. Haven't quite made the leap. Is this the year that the Bengals make that leap? Is this the year that Eber makes the leap in just his 3rd season in the Can I Get a Witness Fantasy Football League? All right, Eddie. Continue to get better and better each year. Man, making the championship game last season. That's awesome. Very tough. Again, I know that people who make the championship game and lose, they always feel a certain way about it. But again, it's so difficult to win a fantasy football championship. You have 10 people in this league. Only one of you gets to win a championship per year. So the fact that you're getting to the championship game, again, and once you're there, you're there. And just to tell you a little story, I think it wasn't last year. Last year was a little bit of a disaster. I think it was 2 years ago. I made 6 championship finals. I made the playoffs in like almost every league. I have 17. Made the finals in 6 of them and lost all 6. Like, it's impossible. Oh my God. It's just like, well, just the odds, just mathematically feels impossible. But I think it just shows like how much work I was doing just to get to those finals, because it was rough. But listen, you got to the championship, which is almost as good as winning the championship. Like, getting there is it's a very difficult. Look at Cindy came in last place. I cannot reiterate this enough. And Trevor, I want to give you the time, all the deference and respect for making it all look easy. Listen, first year in the league, you won it all. I'm pretty confident I didn't pick you to win it. So I want to congratulate you. JP wants you to know, like, oh, but you got to win 3 out of 4 to be like, whatever. Let Trevor go out there and enjoy the fact that in his first season in the Can I Get a Witness Fantasy Football League, he took the title. And it's not an easy league. There are no easy outs. Again, and I'm not picking on Adam by any stretch of the imagination. Everybody in this league is getting better. Each and every year. Everybody gets better. And so, it's a tremendous accomplishment to go out. And again, it's so difficult. So Trevor, congratulations. But you got to remember, like Cindy will tell you, as she's sitting here watching this video. Now, Cindy's tuned out. Cindy, I'm about to talk about you again. So come back for a moment. It's very difficult to repeat in this league. And we saw last year how easy it is to go from the penthouse to the outhouse. So you got to make sure that you're focused. Don't sit here. Don't show up there already, 3 high lifes deep, being like, yeah, this stuff's easy. No, it's not. You got to be prepared, but I think you're going to. I have a lot of faith in you, Trevor. But now is the time that I need to pick my winner for this season. And Cindy, I said I was going to say some nice things about you, and I am, because I believe that you are truly going to get back to the playoffs. You're going to get back to the championship game, and you are going to go all the way to the finals and lose to my gal, Rebecca. I think this is the year. This has been building for Rebecca. Rebecca has been one of the most consistent performers in this league, never missing the playoffs. Just missing out on opportunities, coming points away from finally getting that championship gold. So for me, I truly believe that Rebecca is going to win this season. Can I say Becky? Is it not? No. Rebecca. Okay, sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I always use nicknames. It's a terrible habit of mine. But Rebecca is going to go out there and win this championship. And as before Cameo kicks me off, once again, before we go, I just wanted to thank everybody for bearing with me through this. I can't believe the time goes so fast. You're like, the time didn't go fast, Frank. This was the longest 3 weeks of my life. But I appreciate you bearing with me with this. I know I get a little loquacious and everything like that, but I truly do love doing this. I look forward to this every year. I feel as though I know you, but it's always a lot of fun for me to do it. So I know there's a lot of cool people on this app that you could have used, and you picked me. Thank you so much. Have a great season. Rebecca, good luck. And